Mom, why am I fat?
Should he really be eating that piece of pizza? I mean, look at him. Wow, good for him, riding his bike in that condition. How can they let themselves get that big? It's not that hard to eat right and exercise. All these common notions are nothing but misconceptions, yet they have been ingrained in our minds as how to think about overweight and obese individuals. It's their fault. They are lazy, they are messy, they are stupid, they don't care, they. The blame is always placed on the individual. But what if obesity is not their fault? No one would voluntarily choose to be overweight, yet millions are living with obesity and rates are only rising.
Beth Younger is a 53-year-old middle-class female and a professor at Drake University who has been affected by obesity for the majority of her life. Beth talks about how the role of society and how obesity is portrayed and how it has personally impacted her.
It basically portrays obesity as being a completely horrible aspect of humanity that is all the fault of the individual, which
Obesity is not just the result of overeating. Conclusions should not be jumped to.
but it's a complex web of factors. It's not just that I'm lazy or that I overeat. It's about my relationship with food. I think media in general depicts it as you're fat because you're a lazy pig and there's something wrong with you and you haven't fixed it, so you better fix it.
The focus needs to be on the individual's own problem, not just generalizing it into one category of overeating.
It's affected me now because, as I said, I really don't feel like a fat person. I just feel like me. But then sometimes if I see an image of myself, I'm like, wow. It's like, so when I can see myself, I think I take on the male gaze. I take on the gaze of society looking at me and saying, oh, look at that person, she's fat, instead of just seeing me as me. I think it's much easier to eat sort of healthy and fresh food if you're a wealthy person. There are some, class and economics have something to do with it because there's a lot of really bad food that's cheap and easy. I mean, you can eat at McDonald's or Taco Bell for not very much money at all. And not that it's all unhealthy, but a lot of it is high carb, high fat. And gender is always a factor pretty much in everything as far as I'm concerned. But I think women have a much harder time having extra weight than men do because we have so much more social and cultural pressure to look a certain way, like being thin. Men can get away with having a little extra weight.
According to Lisa Kocher, Mower County, Minnesota Director of Health and Human Services, her department is trying to create new systems that focus on the individual. Kocher believes that every community is different and every individual needs that attention. The Public Health Department spreads the word about their initiatives through programs that are then promoted around town through local media and in public schools. We are too focused on what the individual is doing wrong that we lose sight of the underlying forces behind obesity.